What can you share with us from the ground?
Well, we know that this fire, the most of the damage is outside of the city of Boulder. It's in the communities of Louisville and Superior, roughly 30,000 people combined. And both those towns were evacuated. Everybody. Very dry up there. The state's been in a drought. And we're just learning in the past hour or two that up to 1,000 dwellings may have been destroyed.
Wow.
The count right now, the firm count is roughly 500 to 600, but miraculously, there have been no reports of fatalities, no reports of missing people. The sheriff calls that a miracle. Of course, the firefighters are still going through the rubble, still putting out fires, and sadly, of course, there are chances they might come upon something kind of grim. But right now, pretty miraculous evacuation. Very little time, happened in the blink of an eye, the governor says.
Yeah, and some of the pictures that we're seeing here, at least for our television audience, quite dramatic and quite sobering. Vinny, I am curious about what we know about the actual cause of the fire, meaning what actually sparked these fires to begin with.
Well, first of all, this is on the Front Range, it's called. It's the east side of the Rocky Mountains. It includes Denver all the way up to Boulder and beyond. The winds come down from the mountains in the winter, and they came down hard and fast, hurricane-force winds. Probably an accident, probably power lines down. You don't need 100 or more miles an hour to knock down a power line, do you? And that got it started. Again, tinder dry. And this area, people think of the mountains. This is actually high prairie east of the mountains. So you have prairie grass, you have construction, new construction, wood frame housing, and whoosh.
Wow. So, Vinny, what's the status now? Are the fires contained? Are they out? Are they still raging? Because I remember seeing just the scenes of raging fires.
The sheriff says, as far as they can tell, the sheriff of Boulder County says they're contained. The problem now is you have a lot of hot spots, and they have to go through there and fight those, or at least tamp them down. Let's say it's smoldering, maybe a little worse in some areas. Snow is moving in from the mountains. That should help matters. But when you get actually beyond some of this urban sprawl and into some of the old parts of Superior, and that's an old town, the old part now, smoking holes, the sheriff says. So you have the embers, you have the winds. Think of the Great Chicago conflagration back in the 1870s. Mm-hmm. It was the same effect. The wind, the embers, the dryness.
And we've seen, of course, weeks of dryness, unseasonable dryness out there in some of those cities in Colorado. I am curious, Vinny, what the weather does look like going forward here. Are there any expectations that we could get some relief from Mother Nature?
Yes, Romaine. Snow is in the forecast, and as you see here in Denver, things are overcast. Some of that may be haze from the smoke. So this weekend, we're looking for snow. One forecast pegs it up to 10 inches in that area, but that'll certainly help. Of course, now you have the question of when the snow melts, the runoff, the fire damage, fire and flood. They don't mix that well, so there's going to be problems. But right now, the good news, the positive news, if you can say that, well, yes, you can say that, is no lives lost, no reports of missing persons. They had one, but they found an individual. And for that matter, no reports of serious injuries among the evacuees or the firefighters, police officers, paramedics, what have you.